Hallo meine Freunde, heute habe ich eine deutsche Gewehre 98, die im Ersten Weltkrieg in Türkei geschickt wurde. Viele der türkischen Modell 98 Gewehre wurden im Jahre 1918 gesendet. Diese Gewehre waren die gleichen wie die der deutschen Armee für Krieg ausgegeben wurde. Im Jahre 1938 rief die Türken in alle ihre Gewehre und renovierte sie zu den gleichen specifications. Can't remember the German word for specifications. Spezifikationen, maybe, something like that. Dieses ist ein Gewehr, ich seit Jahren gesucht habe, und ich bin glücklich für $275 dieses Gewehr bei Liberty Tree Collectors gefunden zu haben. So, there's my German. It gets worse the older I get, but since this is an echte German Gewehr 98 from probably 1918, I thought it would only be fair that I tried to say this in German. When we did the original K98K, we did it in German as well, but this baby right here, this is the father of all Deutsche Kriegsgewehre. So this is the father of all the German weapons, basically. This is the 98, the model 98. Now this is the model where the three lugs came. You got the safety lug in the back right here, and then the two lugs here that lock in up here in the front. Previous models, and we've showed these on our site, previous models didn't have the safety lug back here, but this model, the model 1898, did have it, and it was the first time that showed up, so it was probably the last and best iteration of the Mauser line. Now this particular gun is a Turkish model, and those of you who could understand my German, probably not too many of you, can maybe read that. This one was actually made in Germany, probably Oberndorf, because that's where a lot of these rifles were made by Mauser in Oberndorf, the main Mauser factory, and sent to Turkey because the Ottoman Empire, which is now Turkey, but then was the Ottoman Empire, they were in league with the Germans in World War II, or World War I, sorry. They were neutral in World War II, I believe, but so they needed weapons for the war, so the Germans ran a whole year's worth of production or more and sent them to Turkey. Now, this is an 8mm, 7.92 by 57. It's the same exact gun that they were making for the German army. Now this model, you see, doesn't have the famous roller coaster sights on it. These sights are actually easier to work with than the roller coaster ones. They were kind of made for more round nose bullets. These were graded for Spitzer bullets, or the pointed bullets that they ended up using for military rifles. And as you can see in the front, those of you who are Mauser experts, you can see on the front here that this right here is a little different. What happened was the Turks, they got a lot of weapons from Germany. They loved German weapons. Actually, the German army was sort of the model for all armies in the world around the 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And so you find all the South American countries, Turkey, other European countries, all modeling themselves on the German military and the German military arms. So it's not surprising then that the Germans made guns for all these other people. But what happened was in 1938, And I've got a bayonet for this. Let's put it on, sitting right here. In 1938, the Turks decided that they had gotten all these different rifles from Germany. They had gotten model 1893. There it is. Yeah, check that out. They had gotten model 1893s in 7.65 by 53, I think. They had gotten some old 1888 German rifles, and then, as I mentioned, they had gotten the Gewehr 98, the Gewehr 88's GU. It's called. A lot of people call it a GU, G-E-W. That's the short for Gewehr, which is the German word for rifle, basically a weapon. So they had all these different variants, and in 1938 they decided, you know what, let's pull all these in and make them all the same caliber, make them all look the same. So what happened, these 8mm model Gewehr 98s got a little bit of smithing done to them, so they ended up so they could all take the same bayonet. So they all got kind of the front end, and if you've got a model 1893, you'll find the front end and this bayonet lug and all that. That's where that comes from. They also took off the roller coaster sight, put this sight on it, and they added this so that it's a takedown, so when you take the bolt apart you can put the firing pin in here and compress the spring. So they sort of brought them all up to the same specification, if you will, in German. Anyway, they brought them up to the same specifications, and so what? And then they also overstamped them. So what you see is that's why this now says it says ASFA ANK ARA Ankara, Turkey, 1948. So all these Gewehr 98s were Turkerized, I guess you could say, or Turkerized, or whatever, in 1948. Now the thing that gives it away is that this one really is a 98, a real extra true German 98 is right here on the side where they tried to mill everything off. They didn't quite get deep enough, and you can still see right here, you can still see an 8. You can still see an 8. It's kind of faint, but you can see it. And then on this other side, right here, you can still see the imperial stamps from the German imperial weapons stamps. Also down here, you've got this right here. That's a dead giveaway that this was really a Gewehr 98. And also on the butt plate right here, you've got a crown and a 2-digit serial number there, which is also a giveaway that it was a true made in Germany Gewehr 98. All right. Now sometimes on some of these rifles you can faintly see through, if they didn't grind it very well, you can see, you know, a munitions Fabriken Oberndorf 1918 or something on there. You can't really see that on this one. They ground it too deep. But they did leave a few telltale markings to indicate exactly what it is. So this is truly made in Germany. Now, like I say, probably an Oberndorf, you know, for the Turks, and this would have been the same rifle for the most part. Few changes, but this would have been pretty much the same rifle that the German army was using in World War I. Now, as I mentioned, auf Deutsch here, I have been looking for one of these for a long, long time. And they're hard to find, and they're expensive. And I saw this one on Liberty Tree Collectors, and I saw the telltale markings because Liberty Tree had put such great detailed photos on their website. I thought, hey, that's a Gewehr 98. That's what I've been looking for, you know. It's got all these Turkish markings on the outside, but the inside is a real German 98. So I ordered it. It was only $275. So We're going to shoot it today. See how good it shoots. It's got a great barrel in it, really great, shiny, good rifling. It did have some cosmoline in, which I had to clean up, and it's not pitted. Anything that looks like pits are actually just marks in the grinder, grinding off the old German marks. But we're going to shoot it right now. Should be pretty cool. We're going to shoot down there about 50 yards plus or minus, and should be pretty cool. And like I say, I'm pretty excited about this pit, baby, because I've been looking for one of these for a long time. So I'm kind of a history buff, and this one's also got kind of a cool repair on the buttstock. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the buttstock has been repaired. Flip the other side over, and you can see that repair that's been done on the buttstock. That's probably a factory repair, you know, where they cut in right here and cut the wood in. And it's just got your plain old hard butt plate there. So anyway, we're gonna shoot it right now, and we're gonna shoot some reloads that I loaded, some 150 grain low power reloads for plinking, basically, here on our property range. And you know, we're not going to war. We're not fighting the Brits, the Russians, or anybody. So we're just going to take it easy on this old gun, but it should be fun. Here we go. Okay, now let's try it. Had to get a little higher, so I went and got my briefcase from work, sitting in the back of the car here. So we'll mix a little work with pleasure here. Take this to work tomorrow and it'll still smell like gunpowder, maybe, yeah? Alright, here we go. First shot that I've ever shot through this gun. Now I did put a little white paint. I did put a little white paint on the front sight just so I could see it a little better. And here we go. Oops, oh, safety's on. Alright, here we go. Safety's off. Ah, very sweet. Wow, this is a sweet shooter. Sweet shooter. These lighter loads, it doesn't thump too much. Makes it fun to shoot. Boy, it's smooth though. Very smooth. Been smoothed out by a lot of Turks shooting it and breaking it in for me. Well, that combination of this heavy gun and these low recoil loads that I'm shooting, that's sweet. Okay, let's simulate standing and battle performance here. So if we're going to simulate battle, we better put on the bayonet. So, you know, someone's going to give you the command, you know, mount bayonets. All right, bayonet is mounted. Here comes the bad guys. Here we go, standing. Wow, this baby gets front heavy with that bayonet on there. Makes some noise too. Everybody's going to be up from their naps. Okay, so standing with the bayonet on would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the 8mm holes. Those are two 5.53 holes up there. We'll X those out. That's not bad. So all those grouped in the center there in the pink, except for this one flyer, of course, that is over the bag. And then the other 4 or 5 were standing with the bayonet, so a heavy front end. And again, I was trying to aim down here to compensate, you know, but not bad. That old gun shoots pretty good for a 100-year-old battle rifle, and I'm really excited about that. If it had a much better shooter than me, if we were actually sitting on a bench and had it all bench rested up, and you know, had it on one of those kind of vice steels, you know, and all that, I imagine we could put them in the same hole pretty much. But that's pretty good. Just me over a bag over the hood of my truck, or standing with the bayonet on the front. Those are all good. So if those were enemy soldiers, they would all be in hurting condition. Good battle rifle. Very cool. This gun is what's called in the white. It means that all the action parts are still in the white. They're not blued. If you notice that these are not blued, the receiver has been blued, and the front sights and the barrel have been blued, but the rest of it's in the white. And that's the way that they were made originally, was in the white. If you find one that is not in the white, that has been blued, then it may be a Russian capture, or it may have been, somebody might have blued it when it got to the States. The Turks might have blued it somewhere along the line. But if it's in the white like this, then that's good. That's a giveaway that it's a real, authentic Gewehr 98. Also, here's where the you can see the insignia for the Turks put on there. ASFA, that means Turkish Army. It's a Turkish Army insignia. And the ANK, ARA, Ankara, if you're familiar with geography, Ankara is a city in Turkey, probably where this was done, this refurbishment. 1948 right there, that's the year it was refurbed. And once again, they 1938, they pulled all their rifles in and refurbed them for the same ammunition, the same bayonets, and everything. Now, if you have an 1893 Mauser, it'd have a cutout right here to fit the pointed tip Spitzer bullets. If you have one where the receiver was actually made in Turkey, it'll say KKL, stamped KKL on here. And that means that it was made probably during World War II, when the Turks could not get any real Mauser guns out of Germany because the war was going on, so they started to make their own. So those receivers were made in Turkey. Up the gun, we get up here to the front, and one thing the Turks did was they took in all their guns, their model 1888 German rifles, their model 1893 rifles, and their model 98s like this one that they got, and they modified the front end with this barrel band so they could use all the same bayonets. So all the rifles fit the same type bayonet. They modified them all to 8mm, And well, this one was already 8mm. They didn't need to modify this one, but the 1893 models they had were in 7.65 by 53, I believe. So anyway, it's called an M38 because in 1938 the Turks pulled all their guns back in and made them meet the same specifications. Now, fortunately, this one, for all intents and purposes, still looks just like a regular Gewehr 98, minus the roller coaster sights, of course, and a little. I think the German 98s had a little stacking swivel thing under here, and different style bayonets, but for the most part, this is a real 98. Gewehr 98, GU, if you will, 98, for those who don't speak German. This says GEW, so people just call them a GU. Well, it's not a GU, it's a Gewehr. Gewehr 98. That's it. Very sweet gun. I like it a lot. Liberty Tree collectors, I think I got a really good deal, and I really like the product. Shoots great. And, you know, this gun here, like they said on Indiana Jones, you know, we're just passing through history, but this is history, right? Alrighty, thanks for watching. See you later.